If you could telepathically say something that all 7.8 billion people on Earth could hear at once, what would it be? You picked the correct religion. I am real. This is the proof you've been asking for. Then I'd watch the world blow up. What age did you lose your V card? 24. I'm 23 as today actually, but I am hopeful for the upcoming years. Japan has Godzilla. What does your country have? Diabetes. Why would Cinderella's shoe fall off it if it fits her perfectly? I don't need sleep, I need answers. There's a population of 7.5 billion humans and 1 quadrillion ants. If there was to be an ant rebellion, how would you kill your 133,000 ants? Summon the spider from the corner of my shower. This is the moment he's been training for all of his life. What's the most attractive thing a guy can do for a girl? Be the fastest runner in 1st grade. What makes you different from the average Redditor? I did not need help naming my cat. What is something that you would wish upon your worst enemy? A stubbed toe every hour? Satan, even I'm not into that. If you were offered $20 million to not say a word for an entire year, would you say it? What's the first thing you would say after? Quiet kids at school who never spoke. It's like I was made for this. Blind people of Reddit. What do you find attractive? Blind people? If every person on Earth fought 1v1 until there was only one winner, that person would only have to win 33 times. The 30 newborns to start were easy, but the 33rd dude was a killing machine. I couldn't pass him without a cheat code. Girls, what was the most obvious hint you dropped and the guy just didn't get it? I threw my panties at him and he kept explaining God of War lore. I think he did understand the hint, he just didn't want to do anything with you. I've literally never thought about this, but I'm currently leaning as I read it. What's an obvious sign someone's American? According to the CIA, when training to be a spy, you have to unlearn how to lean. Americans tend to lean on things when standing still. If Keanu Reeves is the internet boyfriend, who is the internet's girlfriend? She goes to another school. What's a place that seems fine during the day, but gets really creepy at night? Any place that's usually filled with people is creepy when it's empty. Malls, hospitals, schools, churches, your mom. What is the best response to screw you? Okay, legit, this is a great response. I use it with the narcissist in my life. I respond okay to her random insults. It frustrates her because she seeks a reaction I don't give her one. What's the longest you've gone without wearing any clothes? About 9 months. Girls that gave the nice guy a chance. How did it go? Ironic that the girls on this thread evidently do not know who the nice guys are. All I'm reading is stories about psychopaths. People of Reddit who regularly consume alcohol. Why do you do it? I'm British, I'm Irish, I'm German, I'm Scottish, I'm Swedish, I'm Polish, I'm Canadian. What is dangerous to forget? That you're driving? Oh damn, thanks for reminding me. If you were to die today, what nice things would your loved ones have to say about you? Finally. That's not very nice. Dads of Reddit. What the hell should we get you for Christmas? A son that isn't a disappointment. Chefs of Reddit. What do you make when you're drunk? About $12.50 an hour? What's the most high risk, low reward thing you've ever done? Walking into my house as a confident 15-year-old with a cigarette in my mouth, telling my dad things were going to change around here. Reddit. What's a killer's first date idea? Something that you're both really bad at. Gets you both laughing and having a good time. Doing the deed it is. Men of Reddit. What's the most pathetic / ridiculous thing another man has done in an attempt to assert his dominance over you? He tried to drink water faster than me. No one drinks water faster than me. What common practice do you find barbaric? Using a bonus action to rage? You just inherited 100 billion. What ridiculous things are you spending the money on after all the common sense and helping others spending is done? Get a new booty? I have a crack in mine. You're dead. How can you make your funeral as unpleasant and embarrassing as possible for everyone else through your will? Roll me down a hill in a giant hamster ball through a hilly obstacle course. There will be a series of holes dug at the bottom of the hill. My family will bet on which hole I land in. The winners split the inheritance. I am buried in the same hole I landed in. If you could place any object on the surface of Mars purely to confuse NASA scientists, what would it be? Partially vaporized radioactive manhole cover? What are some unsaid rules of Reddit that the new users should be aware of? Removed. What's a weird thing that makes you in the mood? Women who talk to me. I too am attracted to the impossible. What is something that can be equally enjoyed by both adults and kids? My dog. What song would you want played at your funeral? Tetris theme while my coffin is being lowered into the grave. How do you respond when a girl calls you cute? Form that moment into a core memory and ride that dopamine hit for years. What is something that makes a person instantly unlikable? Google it. Simple. Delete this and screw off now. How old are you without directly saying your age? In kindergarten, my class was taken outside to watch a space shuttle take off, then quickly brought back inside once it blew up. What's a name brand item you refuse to replace with generic? Crayola crayons. Generic taste funny. For 10 seconds, stop what you're doing and just listen. What do you hear? Thanks! Turns out the hostage was screaming again. What was the incident in your high school? The principal found drugs in the boys' bathroom. He called an assembly and told us we had to vote for who we think it was. was. I think the principal's son got like 98% of the votes. Suddenly the voting system wasn't valid. We didn't even coordinate it. Everyone had the same idea at once, and it was glorious. Single men of Reddit. What's the most single guy meal you've ever made? I bought a head of lettuce and ate it like an apple over the sink while occasionally dribbling salad dressing over it. Or I planned on biting. I cried. This was the greatest visual from a sentence I've ever had the pleasure of mentally creating. What is the darkest thing you have ever done and don't regret? Slaughtered younglings to save my wife from certain death. If you could choose how you'll die, how will you die? Immediately. How would you handle the situation if you found yourself stranded on an island? What's a trap that everyone will fall into at least once in their lives? You heard of Ligma? What's Ligma? What is the best loophole that you've ever found? My brother once yelled, "Last one to jump into the pool is gay," and then jumped into the pool. However, I figured out that if I did not jump into the pool, then technically he would be the last one in the pool. He's still gay to this day. People who don't have a case on their smartphone. What other risky behavior do you participate in? I dig straight down in Minecraft. People of Reddit, why are you asking questions about the deed every goddamn 2 minutes? Redditors like to know about things they'll never experience. Older people of Reddit, what's something trending among younger people that you also like? Yeet. I don't know what it is, but that word just makes me laugh. I'll be 48 this year and hopefully still have many years before I yeet the hell off this mortal coil. What's your number one doing the deed fantasy? I just want someone to hold my hand, to be honest. You will get $20 million if you agree to end every conversation with "see you later, alligator" for the rest of your life. Why wouldn't you do it? What job exists because we're stupid? Teaching. If you could delete anything from the world, what would it be? My next door neighbor. He's a witch. I also picked this guy's next door neighbor. What if you're his neighbor? Double win. How worried are we about nuclear annihilation? I'm not worried about the annihilation. I'm worried about not being at the center of the blast. Ladies, what do men do that they don't know is sexy? How come sitting in my boxes, half drunk and covered in chips playing Xbox, is never on these lists? If you offered $50 million to take a pill that kills you when you turn 70 years old, would you take it? Why not? I would literally take a pill that kills me in 72 hours for a donut. What's the dumbest rule your school ever enforced? No body armor of any kind. Where the hell were we gonna get body armor? Most of us barely could afford to go to school. The fact this was a rule also makes me wonder what the hell happened to make them institute this. What is an actual sub for serious flat earthers? R/mental illness. Without using numbers, how old are you? 31. Now listen here. What is your most thought-provoking question? What do snails even do? Their best. You get to choose a skill at which you will be the best at, but instead of getting better, everyone else just gets worse. What skill do you choose? Procrastination? I'll take one for the team. My hero. What screams "I'm emotionally unstable"? I do. What's a good way to overcome awful social anxiety? Eat right, go to the gym, get a job. Just don't sit at your computer all day. I'd rather have social anxiety. Thanks. If there was a Reddit Olympics, what would the events be? Long jumping to conclusions. What is your worst trait? I hate myself while thinking I'm better than everyone. Tattoo artists of Reddit. What's the worst mistake you've ever made? Did you tell your client? I married my high school girlfriend. Turns out she was cheating on me. And no, I did not tell any clients. It's none of their business. In the event of a hostile alien invasion, where are you hiding? Me and the boys hiding? What's a useless geography fact? Belgium, who is actually the bad guy in history, but isn't actually a bad guy. Delete it. What is a fun fact that is mildly disturbing? When you're cremated, your teeth explode from the heat. Forbidden popcorn. How do you ask your girlfriend to do the deed with you? Nerd probably talking about his favorite Pokemon again. You guys have to help me, it's so complicated. Now that Never Gonna Give You Up has been removed from YouTube, what should the next meme song be? What is the worst season of a good show? This might not make much sense, but every season of Thomas the Tank Engine after season 7. What product's main purpose is ignored? Video games are meant to be fun, but people play League of Legends. What is a superpower that is underrated that you want? Anti-gravity. It's a second or third tier power, but the possibilities are endless. Yo, imagine if you could turn off the gravity of your pee and just pee really far. What's a not safe for work fun fact? In World War II, soldiers in the trenches could be under constant fire for days. However, they would still take the time to do the deed in a designated section of the trenches. Doing it under fire was referred to as Combat Jack. You find a gun in your mailbox with a note attached saying, "Kill someone in the next 24 hours or your family dies." What's your next move? I guess hang out with my family and kill whoever comes to them 24 hours later. What's the worst song to play at a funeral? My father chose the music for my uncle's funeral. I didn't recognize the title. However, at the intense moment that curtains drew around the coffin, out blurted the Looney Tunes theme. We were horrified and my dad sat there hunched over giggling to himself. What's the weirdest thing a complete stranger has done to you? I got on the bus and a drunk guy tried to hand me a beer and I was like, "Nah man, I'm good." And then he handed me $1 and said, I saw that guy took your $1. That was really messed up. And I was like, the bus driver? He wouldn't take his $1 back. What's the most messed up thing you did in a sleepover? We found craft singles in the fridge and put one over the nose and mouth of a friend of ours who fell asleep on the couch before everyone else. It immediately softened and molded into a cheesy seal over his face, and he stopped breathing. We all freaked out for a solid 10 seconds, very quietly, until we heard him making a chewing sound. This dude smelled cheese and took immediate action despite being unable to breathe, and just straight up ate a mouth-sized hole into the single unconsciously. What is the most unusual thing you find attractive? Shoulders. Yeah, sorry high school girls, I'm the chill, bro. What's an occupation you're sure no one enjoys doing? Sewage diving. I actually quite enjoy browsing Reddit. Women of Reddit. What questions about men do you wish to be answered? When urine a urinal, do you want a small divider panel or is it pointless? Men I've polled give mixed responses. Neither. I want a functional divider, large enough to block the view. No, I want a divider which can clip on or clip off. So if I think there's a dude next to me and I'm confident in my, I just want to show it off and let him get mocked. What's something you own a ridiculous amount of? Problems in every shape and color. According to you, who is the most attractive human to ever live? A model I saw sitting in a chair while looking through a catalog for a new chair. She was the love of my life. What do you desperately want right now? True love. Wow. True love, affection, and affirmation, or whatever the hell my username says. How attractive would you say you are? I have a face for radio and a voice for the shower. What is the worst form of torture to have ever existed? Baby shark, do 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 do. How often do you sleep naked? Nice try, uncle. You have to try harder next time. People who don't reply until days later. Why? It's a relatively new phenomenon that basically anyone in your life gets access to you at all times. It was only 20 years ago that if you left the house for the day, you were actually gone. You'd return messages when you came back, hours or even days later. Basically, I prefer this sometimes. You get to choose a skill at which you will be the best at, but instead of getting better, everyone else just gets worse. What skills do you choose? Procrastination. I'll take one for the team. My hero. Anyone who won a lifetime supply of something. What did you win? And are they still supplying it? I've read this before. Redditors who own multiple pets. What's the drama going on amongst them right now? My mum's 10-year-old cat is staying with us for a few days. Our golden retriever loves cats, but has never spent a ton of time around them. He is enchanted by her. He follows her around all day so he can watch her do cat things, like scratching on a scratch post, or tinkle in a box, or roll around in catnip. He keeps trying to roll around in catnip himself, and is newly confused every time something magical doesn't happen to him. What's something you can say to Dwayne The Rock Johnson, but not to your girlfriend? Hi, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. To the men who randomly stopped texting a girl after you used to talk to her all day, every day. Why did you stop? I was always the one who was initiating conversations. I stopped initiating the conversations to see if she would, and she never did, so I figured she just didn't care about me, so I should stop trying. Firefighters of Reddit. What's the easiest way to accidentally burn your house down? I've read this before, but I can read it again. A guy on a motorcycle forum once shared the story of how he fixed his broken coffee machine, and how proud he was that he had actually managed to fix it. 3 days later, somebody broke into his house, and the coffee machine was stolen among other things. The police didn't give much hope, but 2 days later, he received a call from the police. They had found all his stuff. When he asked them how they had found the thieves, When he asked them how they had found the thieves... What? I don't know how to read this. I'm ruining this meme. When he asked them how they had found... When he asked them how they had found the... Man, screw this meme.